What happens when Adrian Newey joins a new team? It's finally official. Dad's Cash has done it. He finally got Lawrence to buy him Adrian frickin' Newey. Millions of us hoped the Pep Guardiola of Formula 1 design would go to Ferrari, win a final title at the Scuderia, and send Lewis off into the sunset. But no. Newey opted for the even more difficult challenge and joined Aston Martin, a team driven by Lawrence Stroll's passion for being the best and held back to an equal amount by the same Lawrence Stroll's inexplicable decision to hamper his own team's progress by insisting on keeping his boy as the team's second driver, no matter what. Dad's Cash has been humbled by Vettel, he's been humbled by Alonso, and now he may be on the verge of actually driving a car designed by the greatest mind the sport has ever seen, with apologies to Colin Chapman, Enzo Ferrari and Rory Byrne. Newey joins the team in green for an eye-watering £30 million a season, which is more than 18 of the current drivers on the grid currently get, meaning only Hamilton and Supermax definitely get paid more than the Guardiola of Formula 1. And let's face it, the man is worth every cent. For goodness sakes, the man's designs have won more than 200 Grand Prix, 12 Constructors titles and 13 Drivers titles, and 2 kart, or as we know it now, IndyCar titles. They say history tends to repeat itself, so let us have a look at what has happened when Adrian Newey has joined a new team in the past. IndyCar. Just me that didn't know the man was involved in the American copy of Formula 1? Way back, literally 40 years ago in 1984, Newey joined the March IndyCar project, and like in future Formula 1 efforts, he made an almost immediate impact. His March 85C won the 1985 title for Al Unser, and despite himself moving on to the Krakow team, his March 85C design also won the 86 title. So it took one season before actually winning the title. March Leightonhouse. For the 88 season, Newey returned to proper Formula 1, leaving behind the donut-eating, AR-15 wielding Indy 500 version from the other side of the pond. The first car he designed for F1, the March 881, was far superior than it had any right to be, and Ivan Capelli managed to drive it to second place in Portugal and even lead for a few laps in Japan. For 1990, March became Leightonhouse, and again Newey's design was excellent, taking the little team to a second place in France. The rest of the year wasn't great though, and the brain surgeons running Leightonhouse fired Adrian Newey. Brilliant move. That would be like Bolton Wanderers firing Carlo Ancelotti. To stick to the purpose of this video, Newey's impact was immediate. His first design was competitive for an uncompetitive team. Williams, of course, the man now bounced back immediately, and his 1991, the year he joined design, had Nigel Mansell finishing runner-up for Williams in the World Drivers' Championship. For 92, Newey gave us the car that broke my young heart and destroyed the red and white McLarens to win the title. In 93, his car again pretty much romped to the title for Prost. In 94 and 95, it took a combination of the brilliance of Schumacher, the dodginess of Briatore, and the designing abilities of Rory Byrne to keep the title away from Newey. In 96, internal disagreements led to Newey being placed on gardening leave, and he would leave the team for McLaren in 97. To recap, he made an immediate impact at a top team when he joined Williams, his car being the best car for the second half of his very first season at the team, only being beaten to the title by a goat in driver's clothing called Senna. Not Bruno. Ayrton. Making 100% sure you realize, not Bruno. He was too young then in any case. McLaren. The 97 car was designed by Neil Oatley, but Newey would do some work on improving it during the year, leading to a victory at the European Grand Prix. For 98 and 99, his cars would take Mika Hakkinen to double World Drivers' Champion status. In 2001, Newey was leaving for Jaguar, but at the very last moment decided to stay at McLaren. They didn't win any more titles together, but did win numerous races before the man put on his wings and joined Red Bull in 2006. How long before he was successful at McLaren? His first design won the title. Red Bull. Yes, the spell that made Red Bull so dominant that very few fans can be neutral towards them. It's either love and the belief that Super Max is the reincarnation of Senna with a bit of Fangio mixed in, or unadulterated hatred. That's what you feel for this team. Interestingly enough, his most successful spell at any team also took him the longest to become really effective at. He didn't design the '06 car, and it showed. The car was closer to rubbish than that empty Pepsi bottle lying next to the sofa that fell off and you've forgotten to throw away. The '07 car was fast, but made of glass, and it retired 14 times. '08 started solidly, but faded badly, and they were nowhere near a win. And then came the breakthrough. '09 was the year Red Bull started winning races with the driving skills of a young Sebastian Vettel, finishing runners-up to Button's Brawn, but the die was cast, and from there they would win Vettel 4, and after Mercedes' almost decade of dominance, another 3 titles for Max, before the man called Newey decided to take the ultimate challenge, and see if he can take another underperforming team with loads of cash all the way before disappearing off into the sunset, driving a British Racing Green V12 Vanquish. How long before he was successful at Red Bull? Effectively 3 years. So with that short summary, we can see that if history is anything to go by, and the immediate collapse of Red Bull's results since Newey announced he would be leaving does indicate that Newey tends to be able to deliver a winning car in between 1 and 3 seasons if he is in charge of the design. This means that he may very well be able to put Alonso, or if you believe in lightning striking on command, Stroll, in a title challenging position by 2027. Of course, I know things don't work like that. I'm just saying, he's done it before. He has the record. No, he has not made a driver of Stroll's ability champion. The man is a designer of race cars, not computer games, but he has delivered a competitive car in a short time, and he has done it numerous times. In a nutshell, Adrian Newey scares me more than when my wife says nothing's wrong and smiles at me while holding a knife. Be afraid, Formula One fans, and pray for my safety when the wife's angry. Those of you that don't support Aston Martin, join me in my fear, because this man can once more break all our hearts. And on that bombshell, I'm out of here. Thanks for watching. I'm sure you've already subscribed, and you're just nice enough to share the videos with all your Formula One loving friends. Manipulation aside, it's time for me to go hide under the bed so my wife can't find me. God bless, and goodbye.